G'day, Peter Hardy-Atkins back with you one more time to talk about quadcopters. Well, there really isn't anything else in my life that you would want to talk about. On the table I have 9 copters, 2 commercials and the rest all scratch built. And these 9 aircraft have become the backbone of the training program which has taken me from absolute ab initio to established solo FPV pilot. And it's taken 18 months, and 17 months were more or less wasted. There weren't any crashes, there have been no major repairs or reconstructions here, but I was not enjoying it. If you're not enjoying FPV, for heaven's sake, don't do it. In November of last year, a friend said to me, Pete, we're going about this the wrong way. Let us start from scratch. And so my faithful 9 copters went back into business, and I thought I was going to achieve it by Christmas, but actually it was the 30th of December when I achieved my first solo FPV flight, absolutely no troubles at all with this little beast. And I've been flying this one ever since. And there's nothing very special about it, but it's going well. I haven't even changed a propeller. In the 12 flights, the 12 full 8-minute battery flights it's done for me since the 30th of December. Now, it makes the point that in learning to fly FPV, it's got almost nothing to do with the copter. It's got everything to do with mindset. And over the next few weeks, I hope to show you a few of the details of getting your mind facing in the right direction to put the fun back into FPV. In my hand here, 3 of the best training aids you could ever imagine. Let's look at them one by one. A voltage checker. I've set this one to 3.5 volts. When that senses any cell in the pack that has dropped 3.5 volts, it sounds a very loud alarm. 200 meters, any wind conditions, I hear it clearly, it's landing time. Number 2. This is the Minim OSD. It's a fantastic device for $11, the best insurance you could possibly have, but bear in mind that it is designed to be used in tandem with a multi-wheel driven flight controller and with some device for satellites if you hope to get any navigational details. You will also need to consider having a recorder strapped across your receiver. And an airspeed indicator, an anemometer. I love to know when it's under 2 meters per second. That's a training day. You saw the range of copters I had to choose from before I started on my FPV adventures, and I chose this one. My goodness me, how basic can you get? A wooden, homemade clone of a clone of a clone. You think it looks like a blackout? Well, you've got a gifted imagination, I'll say that, but you're on the right track. Mobius on the front does great recordings, not brilliant as an FPV camera, but good enough. A Naze Afro flight controller, very acceptable. A very cheap transmitter, but with a microphone. Key issue, must have a microphone. Okay, very cheap transmitter, $16, $17. A cloverleaf aerial, yeah, that's a bit pricey, and I've protected it with a ping pong ball. And after that, you've got 4 very ordinary motors with the cheapest possible propellers, and 4 very cheap ESCs, which are, where are they? Oh yes, they're inside. They're Turniggy plush. When you look at the aircraft from that position, you see that this is quite a low drag configuration. Much lower than the drag you'd be looking at on the Blackout, and I can't disguise the fact this is a Blackout clone. So, there you have it. Could not be more basic, but it flies beautifully. I especially want to introduce you to this. This is the modern version of a buddy box. One receiver gets attached to these 4 leads. The other receiver gets attached to these. And this wire runs to either of the receivers, and whichever receiver has got this in its circuit system is going to be the receiver which switches between this receiver and that receiver. I can't fault it. It takes a little while to set up the two transmitters so that the center of their signal spacing is identical. It's worth it. It is so worth it. And the device, when last I saw, $8.50. You can't complain about that. Now here is a really nice bit of kit, but not on an FPV trainer. Once you've got your flying really under control, it is great to be able to adjust the angle. If you want to look up at the trees you're skimming underneath, or if you want to look down at the traffic below, fabulous. But not while you're training. $65 I paid for this. It's a little bit heavy, but it works very well. This is my flight recorder. $50. The quality is not great, but it saved me when I needed latitude and longitude after dropping the model in a remote spot. Card goes in there, standard SD card, and at the back end the plugs, audio video in, and in this position audio video out. Very useful for replays at the field. $50, it's worth thinking about. Maybe you're wondering why a man who admits to having a QRX, which he loves, and a Quantum Nova, which is just exactly in the same quality, why he would bother flying a wooden blackout clone. Well, it's all to do with the legs. And I think the QRX has got bad legs, but I think that the Quantum Nova has frightful legs. And this is the problem, that when you're learning to fly FPV, there will be plenty of occasions when accidentally you touch the ground before you're really ready to touch the ground. And with this, there's nothing to trip over. If it's vaguely horizontal, it will just bump into the ground and whoosh, it's back in the air again. That is not going to happen with either of these two. If these legs touch the ground with any degree of forward momentum, it is going to trip over. You are going to be replacing parts. You know how Pete hates replacing parts. And the Quantum Nova is worse. These rounded corners, it is simply shocking. It's like a basketball. Touches the ground and whammo, it's rolling. So that's the end of the gear that maybe you should consider for training FPV. I hope I've given you some starting points for your own thinking. There's a huge range of opportunities for you with the copter. It's not critical at all. How you use it, yeah, that's critical. And we'll be looking at some of those details in later episodes. See ya!